All right, let's do it. I'm here with the Charlie Sheen. I'm so excited to be here with you today.
Likewise, thank you.
Yes, and it's been a long time coming. We've been working together for almost 2 years now.
I know.
And it's been really amazing for me to be able to see how far you've come just in the 2 years.
Thank you.
I know that you've been so active, so busy, and that's why we had met, because we were getting you ready for the documentary.
Right.
So right now you're on this big tour, the Book of Sheen. Congratulations on your book.
Thank you.
AKA Charlie Sheen, the Netflix documentary. I saw that. That was amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
How has the tour been? Talking about, yourself now, the Charlie Sheen that exists now, but then also reflecting on yourself the last several decades.
It's interesting. It's a little bit like being shot out of a cannon, but unlike those other cannon blasts in the past, these days I'm wearing a parachute, if that makes any sense.
Some safety protection.
Exactly. No, it's thrilling. I mean, genuinely thrilling to be back in the mix at this level with this much just positive energy and support and just outreach in the air. And I don't want to say I knew this was coming. I knew a version of it. I knew that the doc and the book weren't going to be kept a secret, but there's no way I could have anticipated like what this level of just a giant tsunami of welcome back. Mm-hmm.
What's the feedback that you've received in regards to how you look now compared to what I think people would expect you to look like after living that thrilling life?
Sure. Yeah. It's been really positive. It's been really encouraging. I don't agree with all of it. People say,
Explain.
"Oh man, you looked great on this certain show." So then, I was just telling Dr. G that I don't watch a lot of my stuff, but if someone says, "Hey, you look great on this thing," I might take a peek. Right. And then I'm looking, I'm like, what part of me do you think looked great? But I think people are seeing just, I think it's a life in the eyes. I think it's a gleam in the spirit and a little shine to my sheen. That was stupid. There's Oliver Stone years ago described me when he saw me back on television after a brutal, run, rehab, and all that stuff. Actually, in the book, it's this chapter, this section called "Escape from L.A." So, if you haven't read the book, that'll be your favorite section. Oliver described me as blooded. He looks blooded again, like full of life.
I love that.
It's like interesting choice of words.
It is.
Right? Yeah.
It could be taken either way if you don't know the context.
Like a guy on a rack in a dungeon somewhere.
Right.
Yeah. So,
but I think he probably meant it as full of life and vigor.
Yeah. So
okay.
And he said that back in '99.
About
and
you.
I still hang on to that. Like, just secretly, I'm like, I wonder if people think I look blooded.
Well, the number one feedback that I've received since we've been able to share with the public that we've been working together is the first thing they go is, he looks good and he looks healthy. And I think, working in the plastic surgery and the aesthetic beauty industry, for me personally, my philosophy is if you look healthy, you're inevitably going to look your most beautiful. And so hearing that feedback has been really rewarding for me. What do you feel? How does that make you feel when someone says, "Charlie, you look healthy"?
It can't lie. It feels really good.
Right?
It feels really good.
Because it's one thing for someone to say, you're a handsome individual. You are. You clearly have good genetics, not only physically, but you lived through some things.
Sure.
We know you have good genetics.
Thank you.
But it's different when someone says, "You look healthy."
Right.
We know that you just turned 60. Congratulations, a new decade of life, which I think brings back, for me, when I think about decade birthdays, I like to reflect upon where have I been, what have I accomplished, and what I want to do for the future. And I think for me, it's funny that you're sharing all of this kind of around your birthday. I know your book and your documentary came out just a few days after your decade birthday.
Yeah, birthday was 9/3,
Yep.
book 9/9, doc 9/10. Yeah.
How do you feel about what you look like now as a 60-year-old version of yourself in your career, and then also knowing that you've lived those years, right? So you can only compare yourself to every other 60-year-old, right? But then also you want to be your best self, because don't we all want to be our best self?
Sure.
And then you're on the big screen, you're in the public eye. How do you feel about yourself right now?
I think I feel better inside than the version I see that everybody's celebrating. And I'm not saying that they're wrong, and it's encouraging, and it's flattering, and I totally appreciate it. But I'm just like, there's just things that I see that you could help me improve.
We are our own worst critic.
This oasis of solution can help me improve. But it's just parking the vanity for 1 second. I think the feeling is a mix of a mashup of gratitude and youthful excitement. I'm like excited again to just do something cool, because I used to do like something really cool, and then something bad or just stupid, and the thing would fall apart, and I'd do something cool, and then something shitty, and then, what I'm saying? It's like this back and forth until finally it just got, well, like the doc talks about, partying with problems, then just problems. And so it's, I'm feeling for the first time in a very long time how I felt like early on in my career, experiencing just a lot of that stuff for the first time. Then I can taste that again now, and that's something you can't really attach words to.
I appreciate that. You had made a comment that you feel almost younger on the inside.
Thank you.
And as a medical provider, I truly believe that that's what's going to give you vigor and longevity in your life, because you still have many more decades ahead of you, right? God willing, we all do.
Sure.
I'll
take your word for it.
Right. So, and of course, we all care about you. So I love to hear that you have so much more ahead of you. That's my interpretation of feeling like you are younger on the inside. I want to talk about, first of all, you had just said, experiencing first and the thrill. I want to talk about, what were you thinking when you met Dr. Gordiski, and then he said, I'm going to introduce you to Lace, my PA, and she's going to do light and lasers on you. What were you thinking when you heard lasers?
Was familiar with it to an extent, because in the marriages I'd been in, right, there was always a connection to a gentleman named Dr. Lancer, right, and so, but I was usually just sort of watching it from the outside. I didn't dive in to the extent that the women in my life did, right?
So you were watching them heal. You were listening to them talk about why they're doing this.
Yeah, or just kind of seeing it from, not from afar, but just from the passenger seat, and curious about it, and tried a couple things, but didn't really get the results I was looking for. I don't want to say the results I was promised, but yeah. So it wasn't. So when you showed
had
up,
proposed these
right?
Yeah, not just lotions and potions, but actual light-based energy treatments, which we'll talk about, and lasers.
Right.
You felt like, all right, this sounds exciting. Maybe it's promising. I'll give it a try.
I was excited about where the technology had gotten to since I last visited it. Yeah, and it is worlds advanced.
I totally can appreciate that. Kind of like the evolution of our cell phones. Technology within the laser. So shout out to Sciton. Those are the treatments that I used on you. We did the BBL broadband light.
Okay.
An upgraded IPL, if you've ever heard of that. BBL utilizes light. It's actually not a laser. Wavelengths of light bright flashing at the skin, and it's helping to retrieve pigmentation.
Got it.
Red, brown. So you can think of sun damage. You grew up in Malibu,
Sure.
right? Maybe some rosy cheeks, the vessels around the nose.
Sure.
Fancy word of the day, telangiectasia. Very common.
Telangiectasia?
Telangiectasia.
Okay.
Right? It's those blood
Telangiectasia.
vessels.
I don't have to spell that, do I?
No, you do
Okay.
not.
I think it starts with T-E-L. That's all I got. Yeah.
That we see around the nose,
Right.
and sometimes those pesky vessels.
Sure.
We're able to treat that with BBL.
May I add?
Yes,
I guess a month ago, you did one treatment
I did.
of that.
I did.
And those went away.
Well, that's the
So
power.
nicely done.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
And the only place it really hurt was under the eye.
okay.
And that little dot had bugged me for 20 years because it in different light or trying to hide it with makeup, it either looked like a bump or it looked like a bruise or just looked like something. And that's the one that took the longest to heal. And by the longest, I'm talking 2 days.
Right.
Who cares? And it went away.
I'm
So,
thrilled to hear.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
Nicely
so
done.
something that was bothering you for so long,
Right.
we were able to accomplish just like that.
In a picosecond.
Right?
Yeah.
And the downtime wasn't even bad.
Nothing.
I didn't break your skin. I put on some sunscreen and I said, all right, go out to dinner. You can do whatever you wish.
Sure. And then one day it was red. I just wore sunglasses
Okay.
because it was just underneath the bottom of the frame.
We did several of those treatments.
Yes,
Do
but
you,
this last one, for some reason, seriously,
hit right.
was the one that just said adios to the redness.
I
you
love
know?
that.
Yeah, and I know there's still other shit we got to
Yeah.
focus on, but no, I was.
But the last
I was
one hit
really
good.
impressed.
Very
And,
nice.
And we haven't dug in deep enough yet to your bag of
Arsenal of
your
laser.
arsenal. Yes.
Oh, I have
Yeah.
many plans for you.
Okay.
Do
Because
you-
we did the one, but
We did something called a halo, but it was
Right.
like the lightest halo of all times.
because
of your downtime.
because we didn't have the time. 'Cause
Yes.
we didn't have the time.
But you still let me do a little something, so that was great.
And I could see, okay, if that's where it's headed, let's keep going. And I don't mind talking about this stuff. I really don't. And there's this stigma, there's this fear. People, especially guys,
Mm-hmm. Have
people-
you been able to talk to any of your guy friends or kind of along the way? I'm sure people have been asking you, like, how are you getting ready for your press tour, right? Like, we talk about like a shaving schedule and getting your hair done and this and that.
Right.
Have you publicly said, oh, I got to go see my laser girl?
I haven't, I haven't yet.
All right, well, we're putting it on the record.
Yeah, well, we're on the record now.
Yes, we are.
So that cat's out of the bag. you
Cool.
know. Not that cat needed to be in a bag.
Right.
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 No, shout out to Jules. I did mention, because remember I talked about that, I would always make fun of her lotions and potions
Yes.
and all of that.
Yes.
Until she came up with one that is phenomenal. And I've been using that. Because for me, it's simplicity.
Mm-hmm.
You introduced me to
Zeo. Skin
Zeo,
Health.
yeah, and that's kind of where I've arrived and stayed. I only use two products.
Okay.
That is it.
Have we come around to the daily sunscreen
We have not.
reapplication?
We have not. It's just
We'll circle back.
I hope someone needs to invent one, create one that doesn't turn it into like a deep fryer, like a you know what I'm saying? Like
You just don't like the way it feels.
It just turns into a grease party.
Okay.
You know,
You need something matte.
something matte.
Okay.
Yeah, sunscreen that's matte, and maybe even has like a toner in it. Not a toner, but like a makeup component, like my brother uses. Sorry, Emilio. No, he's got this great sunscreen he puts on, and then I'm like, did you go through makeup? Because it smooths everything. You know, I tried it once and broke out.
It's a bummer when
But you
someone
can't.
has something good.
But you're not going to have the same skin as your brother. People think that everybody in the member of the same family is going to have identical skin. They don't.
That's funny that you mentioned that, because I feel like a lot of my patients, and then on people on social media, we see these young influencers who are talking about gosh knows what skincare product they're using, and then millions of people are buying said product because this cute girl online said it was going to work.
Right.
How have you found the products that work right for you? Trial and error?
Trial and error. Yeah. Yeah. And just how they feel. And also, I think the true test of a new product or any product is really post-shave, because I think that's when the skin is the most.
Because it's like your version of exfoliating.
Right. Right. Yeah. So if something doesn't do anything bad after a shave,
No repercussions.
no repercussions. Yeah. Like I can still, I don't have to cancel anything that day, that night. Then it's kind of past that first test, you know?
Once upon a time in the last 2 years, I did something called a laser peel. It was an erbium-based laser.
Right.
It was 6 microns to be exact. Erbium has come a long way. I think when people think of deep lasers, like CO2 laser, I'm sure you've heard of that.
I had one.
That hurts.
I had one back in 99.
Okay, well, technology has come a long way, because it's not CO2 laser or nothing. Now we have erbium-based lasers where you're able to control the depth better, right? How deep do I want to go? The heat. Do we want to do coagulation, meaning are we going to lead to tightening? And the downtime is way easier.
Right.
How was that CO2 healing? Did that hurt like no one's business?
Yeah, it was awful.
Oh, I
was
believe it. And
awful.
you still remember, you probably still taken back like, oh.
Well, it's funny. Sometimes I don't want to say there's trauma from it, but
Right.
there's a couple specific memories from it where there was this one brown spot. And I remember telling the guy, I'm like, yeah, I know we're going to get rid of a few scars. And what do you think about that brown spot? He's like, I'm never going to see that thing again. And no joke, like when the final flake came off, you know, the healing has finally, you know, finished doing its thing. I'm looking in the mirror. There's the brown spot.
Oh, I believe you.
Yeah, and I went through all that. And it was,
CO2 doesn't pull out color like that.
they didn't tell me that.
I believe you.
See? I didn't know you back then, but you probably weren't born when I got that treatment.
Still in training.
Okay.
Still in training.
Got it.
Okay. So you've had a good experience with light and lasers with me.
With you.
Okay,
Yes.
with me.
Yeah.
And so I'm getting that you are definitely interested in doing more of the BBL, the broadband light.
Right.
Would you be interested in working more on your texture?
Yes, absolutely. That's
can
the one
absolutely
thing.
help you
That's
with
the
that.
one thing that really still makes me uncomfortable to look at. You know, it's not so much on television or in an interview. It's in still photos. Still photos is like they get the wrong angle, they use the wrong light. There's something just everything about it sucks, and then I see all the stuff that I don't like to look at.
Where do you think the scars came from? Did you have acne as a teen?
I did? Yeah, but not cystic. Not. It just kind of showed up one day and then just left one day. You know, and it was just most of the scars came from shaving, and then
nicked yourself?
Just ingrowns, and then stupidly trying to dig them out and doing more damage, and you know, and so, yeah. And then for years, people say, well, you got a couple ice pick scars, and those, because I guess they have to cut them and then stitch them and then laser them.
That was a thing. But
Right.
now,
When is
with the evolution of lasers, so what I would do for an ice pick scar is I would use something called a profractional erbium. So when
Okay.
you think of a laser, I think people kind of go to like dynamite. We're taking it all out. I have that laser and I use it often,
Okay.
but I wouldn't hit a scar with that. What I would do is I would use, I use the word fractionated, and the way I describe it is holes. So we're drilling little holes. Those holes are doing the damage, but then the area around the hole is healthy, untouched tissue. That untouched tissue helps heal the tissue that I treated.
Okay, is this a technology that originated in Korea by any chance?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But I can't say for certain.
Okay, because Jules, the architect of that cream that I
Yes.
rave about, Skin Sane, right?
Yes.
Skin Sanity. She described that exact treatment.
Okay.
Yeah. So is it popular right now? Are
It's
people
very-
are
it's-
people leaning into it right now?
I think so, because you're
Okay.
able to go. When you talk about fractionated lasers, particularly it's called the Pro Fractional. It's an erbium-based laser by Cyton. When you consider that laser, you're able to go really deep because you're not obliterating everything. It's leaving spared tissue. The downtime is also really reasonable. It's nowhere as bad as something like the CO2 or a pure ablative 100% erbium.
Okay. What is reasonable? Like what's the
Yeah,
no, like
I
what
think
like that downtime described as reasonable would be how many days?
I know, right? Reasonable is different to everybody.
Right.
I think I could work on your acne scars and you could be out and about if we used our tinted sunscreen, 5 days.
Hey, Emilio. 5 days.
I mean, people,
Six to be careful. Just
oh
to
no,
be sure.
cautiously, I would say, give me the 7 to 10 days.
Right.
But I think it really comes down to the settings.
Okay.
And then the person doing it. I have a lot of experience. I've also learned your skin, right? As you had mentioned, your brother. Everyone reacts differently. Even if
Right.
you know the technology, you have to kind of learn the person's skin and see how they react. You have pretty tough skin and you heal well.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
not only am I thinking, okay, I want to do a pro fractional for you because we can work on those acne scars without a lot of downtime. I'm also thinking, I'm just going to tell you everything I'm thinking for you.
Why not?
Got a consult right here.
Amazing.
It's called a Moxie. Okay, why the Moxie? So this is going to be a Moxie. Mhm.
Moxie, okay.
It's a 1927 thulium laser to be exact, right?
That's what it's based on?
That's the kind of laser it is.
Wow.
So it's superficial, and it's really great because it works in the superficial plane of your skin. So we're
Okay.
able to pull out some of the brown.
Okay.
Also work on pore size.
Ah.
So everyone just looks smoother and brighter.
Got it. Yeah. Pore size is definitely
And that's a tough one because
Yeah.
when people say, "Oh, I have enlarged pores," there's nothing truly that we can do to change that, but there's a lot of things that we can do to improve the appearance.
got it.
So, Instant Pore Refiner by ZO, cleaning our skin, like exfoliating,
Sure.
and then doing things like a laser peel or the Moxie laser to try to shrink it.
How deep does a pore go?
Oh gosh, it really depends.
Does it go all the way down?
It goes
I
pretty
mean, it's a
deep.
stupid question. Apologies.
Yeah, it
but
can. No. It's
I
a
just
great.
don't know.
It's a great question.
Okay.
So
I mean,
when-
is a pore like that deep, or is it like that deep?
I'm going to say the former.
Seriously?
So
Wow.
the thing about pores is they're kind of like icebergs.
Hmm.
So one thing that I think a lot of people, and of course I've tried it, right? That's how you become an expert or become good at something, is you got to try it out. If you attack a pore too aggressively and you just take everything down, right? So I had mentioned to you the idea of fractionating. So you're just drilling holes. But if you just say, you know what, we're going to obliterate it 100%, just
Okay.
bring it down, the pores will actually look worse
Oh, wow.
because the
Are
pore,
they bigger at the bottom?
they're bigger at the bottom.
Wow. So they planned for this.
Oh, they did.
Yes. I'm just going to do a quick.
Of course.
Did that do anything?
Perfect.
Okay. Because Janice preloaded this, but at some point this is going to be.
I mean, I don't think you look oily at all.
Oh, okay.
And you look like even toned.
Okay, good. Right on. But hey, you got to
Pore
love that I came
size-
prepared, right?
You did come prepared. Pore size is something that a lot of the population struggles with. And it's interesting because I see it in both men and women, people who are, in their 20s all the way to 85. I treated an 85-year-old the other day.
Wow.
And if you have enlarged pores, it's kind of something that's going to follow you, but there are ways that you can treat it.
And there's certain actors,
Mm-hmm.
like famous actors, in the 70s and in the 80s, that was just a part of their character,
Their look.
their look.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, one of my favorite characters on film ever is Chief Brody in Jaws, is Roy Scheider. And he had the pore thing going on his nose. But if it wasn't there, we'd think something was wrong. You know
it's
what I'm
a part
saying?
of his
You
look.
got to know him, and that was just part of his grit and his genius. They had to be there.
Yeah.
But
the grit, right? So you think of, this is where my mind goes, right? Grit, oil production, inflammation, enlarged pores.
See, I think I'm great. It's
That's
like
where my mind goes.
Someone's like
I know,
the
you're
depth of someone's character.
I know. I know what
strength,
you meant.
know?
I just
Yeah.
had to take it there.
That's interesting. Wow.
Yeah, and the
so
reason-
mine does this. Yours
Yes.
goes over there, and
Yes.
yeah,
We can join together.
at some point. Wow.
But the reason why I brought it back to inflammation is I know in the last several years, first of all, congratulations on your sobriety. I understand that that's very difficult when there's an addiction to anything.
Right.
Right.
Thank
So
you.
congratulations
Thank
on
you.
that. Two-part question. The first part is, so you've become healthy, right? And I think it's not just I'm going to stop doing X, Y, Z, but instead I'm going to flip it and I'm going to do all of these things. I understand you're using peptides, you're taking your vitamins, drinking your water. What has been kind of your regimen for internal health that inevitably we're seeing is reflecting on our skin? Our skin is our largest organ.
Sure.
So when we're healthier on the inside, we're going to look prettier.
Sure.
What are you doing?
I'm starting the day in a far infrared sauna sleeping bag, sauna sleeve. I call it the heat sleeve. A company called Higher Dose.
You do this every day?
I do it every day. Yeah, and it's just when the days I don't do it, something feels off. In fact, I flew to Austin to do Joe Rogan's show, right, which turned into just a day of remembrance, you know, and a day of sorrow. It's the day
Yes.
that Charlie Kirk was assassinated.
September
right?
10th.
Yeah, and so we were on the air when that happened.
I heard that.
But the way that day started was that little black bag that I've always got. That's part due. That's 2.0. My original was left on an airplane when I landed in Austin accidentally. It's black bag, black carpet. It was nighttime, and I was in a rush to do too many things and just forgot it, you know. And so there were things in that little bag that I needed the next morning, like vape juice, vape salt, right? So I had to get to Joe at a certain time. I had to meet the makeup lady coming to my hotel room. So I couldn't do the heat sleeve, right?
Okay.
So I went, vape stores near me. And I got an Uber and I went and did something just to replace it, you know. And while I was in that store, and keep in mind the dock dropped at midnight that morning, at 12:01 that morning.
Right.
I'm in and I'm paying the lady. Her name was Ruth. Why do we remember these things? And this dude comes in. His name was Patrick. And so maybe it wasn't. Something close to that. He says, "Oh my God, I saw the doc last night." I'm like, "Dude, it's been on the air for like, barely right now." And he says, "He's the greatest thing I've ever seen. I'm your biggest fan." And he says, "And I got sober on March 14th." And I'm like, "Oh, so my twin son's birthday." Just a bizarre cosmic collision course there that in a place I'm not supposed to be, a dude shows up and that's his sobriety date. Just stuff like that. But the day still had kind of a hitch in its step that day. And it all started by not being able to just be in that, because it's a bit of a meditation. That
And
heat
routine.
sleep. And a routine. Yeah.
Routine
and
is healthy.
I was jolted out of it, and so that's the only day I haven't done it in the past month.
Do you do a cold plunge after?
Just a colder shower.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you feel like exhilarated.
I mean, I don't know if I'd take it that far, but I feel I'm wide awake, and I'm wide awake mentally.
Yeah.
And yeah, just psychologically, it's I just feel like I've put myself through something by choice. So the stuff that I have to navigate throughout the day just feels smoother. I don't know how else to describe it.
Do you feel now that you, oh God, how do I phrase this?
Sorry for that 20-minute
No, you're okay.
answer or story,
Well, I mean,
whatever. But that's one of the things I'm doing.
I think I listened to the interview And it was interesting, and I think it was meant to be that I think you had got up to use the restroom.
And that's when we got the news.
And that's when you got the news because
Yeah.
Joe, I assume, I listened to it, I didn't watch it. Joe was in his maybe podcast room. His people told him, I think someone mentioned it in the lobby,
Yeah.
and then that's what kind of brought upon that conversation. And then I thought it was wonderful that you guys were able to take that news.
Sure.
And let's talk about something that Charlie would want to talk about,
Exactly.
which is that having a debate, a discussion.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very passionate about lasers, right? As you can see.
Yeah.
There are other people who would say, actually, I would approach this from a different perspective. And that's okay, right?
Sure.
That's not going to be something that we're going to get into a big brawl or argument about.
Right.
But I think when you get into a topic that people are passionate, it's important to see all the sides. You can have your own opinion.
Sure.
And I actually learn from people. I really do. When people talk about how they approach an issue, whether it be inflammation of the skin, wrinkles. I think one of the biggest things is I'm a laser girl, right? So if you mention upper lip wrinkles to me, I'm going to say, let's do a laser. But there would be other people who say, oh no, we should put filler in there. And they'll stand strong on that because they think that you need to fill in the wrinkles. But my thought is, let's just erase them via a laser.
Yeah.
Right? Let's actually treat the issue. That's how I feel.
Right, because if you fill a wrinkle, at some point the filler goes away, and then I feel like the depression then reoccurs.
This is exactly right.
Okay.
So a wrinkle is going to be caused by our repetitive muscle movement. Our muscles, right? So on our eyes,
Right.
which, by the way, you have, I feel like, no wrinkles, but you have these lines right here.
Right.
Do you feel like that's like a part of your look?
If those went away, I think it'd be one of the first things that people would notice.
I think so too.
Yeah,
I think
they
so
would,
too.
They would see that I had lost sort of some of my, I don't know what these
Your
things,
Charlie
right,
Sheen look, right.
well, just the
But you've lived life. You got to have some wrinkles.
I don't want to touch anything.
Yeah.
I'm fine. Everything like here up. It's from here down. We gotta get to work.
So going back to a wrinkle is going to be caused because our muscle movements, they keep doing the same movement and our
Right.
skin is falling in between.
Got it.
So
Okay.
if you tell me you have upper lip wrinkles, which is something I often treat in
Is
older
that
women,
from smoking or?
a lot of it is from smoking,
talking
but
too much?
I think it's from talking too much.
Interesting.
And I have women and they're like, I've never smoked a day in my life. So I just make a joke. Well, you're a little kisser, aren't you? Right? Maybe also from drinking from the straw. That's a habit.
Interesting, which is like the same
Muscle movement.
as smoking a cigarette. Yeah.
That's exactly right. So I like to use lasers for that. But, there's people who could probably argue and say we want to do injectables.
Sure. See, the good thing about the vape is the longer tip, so you don't have to get that kind of compression on it. You just kind of, your mouth can stay
We're going to have
level.
to agree to disagree on the vape
Right.
juice.
Yes.
But that's okay. We all have our vices.
Oh, the other thing during that Rogan interview,
Yes.
I was presenting as a perfect candidate for like ginkgo biloba or whatever the new, memory
Right.
supplement might be. Because I couldn't remember this freaking thing. There was like a really important detail to this one story I was telling. And then I'm like, oh, I remembered it again. And then he's like, okay. And I'm like, and I forgot it. Did you see this part of the interview? Now imagine like the kind of panic that creates. It's like you finally wind up on Joe Rogan. You've been
Right.
watching this guy for years. You've been like, oh my God, it's gonna. And then you get in there and you're looking like unblinkingly right into this man's eyes, and your dial tone. You went dial tone, and that's why when it finally came back to me and I'm writing it down in the middle of, he's talking, I'm just writing. He's like, are you writing that thing down? I'm like, yeah, yes, I am. Because you can't, at that point, if you forget something 3 times, then there's like another door that you're going to exit through with a car that's already idling, waiting for you, Anyway, so...
Which is funny.
But that's
Yeah.
another thing
Yeah.
that my brain wasn't at full steam ahead or wasn't firing
Yeah.
on all cylinders because I didn't start the day in my heat retreat.
It's funny that you talk about that day and trying to remember all of these things because you know a lot of history. You guys were talking a lot of history that day. I don't even remember what quite about, but I was really impressed. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know much about this.
We went deep into the JFK
You did. Assassination.
rabbit hole, yeah. Which isn't really even a rabbit hole. It's just
Right. Well, it's been neat because the information has been released, right?
Yeah.
We hit that 50-year mark.
sure. But it's also really, really odd, strange that we're talking about that. And then Charlie happened.
I know.
It's like,
Yeah.
because
It was a day to remember.
for this generation, that's their JFK moment. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not saying that they're.
I understand
I'm not
what you mean.
comparing. I'm just saying, as far as people saying, because we've grown up when people remember, they talk about JFK, like they know where they were, they knew what they were wearing, they knew who was in the room, and I think you can superimpose that on top of the Charlie Kirk moment. You know.
A lot of reflecting.
Yeah.
You've come really far in the last X amount of years. I Googled, what was the craziest year for Charlie Sheen?
Which one came up?
It said 2011.
Oh.
Okay,
Yeah, that would take the cake.
right?
That's the one that.
Okay.
Right over the falls. Yeah.
Just curious to know, like, how far are we talking? So think about where you were on, 2011 and then where you are now. You have to be proud of yourself. How do you feel when you think about how far you've come as an individual, as a human, as a parent, as your job, right? Your career, all encompassing of this famous actor who's in front of TV. Everyone wants to know everything about you. Like, are you proud of where you come? How do you feel about that?
I feel good, but not satisfied.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I feel proud of certain aspects. I feel like I own I claim as much ownership over the good as I do over the bad. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a nice balance there. I don't want to get lost in the celebration of look where I am now.
You have so much more to give.
Well, thank you. I feel like that's again gratitude. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of gratitude, and there's still some relationships that need some healing, and that's all right. I'm in a really great place to pursue or receive or whatever that those are going to look like. And to be mature enough and patient enough to just let some of that stuff just happen on its own timeline and on its own terms, and like that. I'm not in a rush to just fix everything. Mm-hmm. But it's really cool that I'm being invited back to the party, invited back to the big dance, and that's great. But now, actually, I can't say but. That's great, period. Mm-hmm. In addition to that, I'm being celebrated right now for being, I think, brave enough to take the past and everything that led up to this moment, and just say, here it is. And from this day forward, you can watch it, you can read it, or you can listen to it. But as far as where I want that to propel me is moving forward, and just on it's this is all great, and yes, I'm and I think with the book and the doc, I think everybody involved did a great job of memorializing all of it. Mm-hmm. Documenting all of it,
But it comes down to your gratefulness and your gratitude.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that people who have gratefulness and appreciativeness, I think it's a really beautiful quality to have.
Sure.
And that leads to an attractiveness, right? When you're with someone who has, I think of it as gratefulness in their heart, I think it's very welcoming, right?
You can feel it.
You can feel it, and people adore you. I mean,
thank you.
You're really funny.
Thanks.
One time you came for a visit, and I had said to Dr. Gordiski, "Is he a comedian? He's so freaking funny."
That's very kind.
But you do come across as like you are humble, which is so funny, right? Because like you're this famous star, you have such a history, but you're very like you're grounded.
Right on. Thank you.
And I think you've come so far, and you're very personable. It's easy to talk to you. You're also funny, is it? Yeah, you crack me up sometimes.
Well, good. Thank you.
Yeah, you said some couple
Thank
of
you.
funny things.
No, I try to engage with people in a similar manner as to how I'd like to be approached or dealt with from their side. You know, I mean, it's not like unrealistic expectations, but I still believe that you attract what you put out, you know?
Right? Like that
Yeah,
golden
I
rule,
think.
treat people how you want to be treated.
Exactly. Yeah. I heard this guy say years ago something about I hope to be treated right before he went to bed every night. I hope to be treated tomorrow exactly how I treated everyone today. Meaning that goes both ways. So if you were a complete douche,
Yeah.
that's
What you're getting, what's coming
what's
your
showing
way.
up tomorrow. Yeah. But I hope to be treated was what was the prayer or the mantra or
Right.
the manifestation, which is, I think, more responsible than, well, that didn't go so well. Tomorrow's going to be better.
Right.
You know?
Like you get what you put out there.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about your beauty secrets, because that's what a lot of us want to know. Okay, so you shared with us that you like the heated infrared little sleep sack.
Right.
And you're taking your vitamins. What vitamins are you taking these days?
I take a multi.
Okay,
I take this thing called Fatty 15. You know about that?
I do not.
Look it up.
I will.
It's
Does it pull fat from your
it's
gut?
It's an omega that our body really relies on. You just take one a day.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Really good for your cholesterol.
Yeah, a little pricey.
Yeah. Some of the best ones are.
Yeah, I take that. I take
NAD?
I take NAD, but I do it
Injectable.
Sub Q. Yeah. I do the Wolverine combo. I do the TB 500 157 combo.
Got
with
it.
The peptides.
Are you on a
which is pretty
special
good.
diet these days?
Nah, it's like an 80-20 diet. It's just a common sense diet. You know, it's about 80-20. It's 80 like pretty healthy and 20 like some days. It's just based on what's available or how much time you have.
But you're
you
not
know?
really putting too much thought into
No, I'm not
meal
a- I'm
prepping,
not a
getting your protein in.
No, yeah. I mean, if I'm feeling low protein, I'll drink some.
Okay.
You know, I'm not a foodie. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm not a foodie at all. I've never sent a meal back to any kitchen anywhere on planet Earth. I just never. I don't photograph my food.
I don't either.
No, it's there to be consumed, not shared digitally. And what else do I do?
Think about what you do now that you weren't doing in 2011. What beauty regimen things that you're doing now? Because I'm thinking it's going to tie back to health and wellness.
Sleep.
Okay.
Sleep. I don't get a lot, but I no longer will go days and days on like 2 or 3 hours, no hours. So I'll bank a minimum of 5.
Okay.
Which is pushing it a little bit. If I can get 7, that's like most people's 9. If I get 6.5, that feels sometimes like 8. You know?
Some people just don't need as much as others.
Yeah.
I'm an 8-hour girl.
You're an 8. See, I would. There are times, I don't know, just you get to the end of something and your body finally says, okay, we need to just recharge, and then I'll spend the whole day sort of groggy.
If you sleep too
if I
much?
sleep too much,
Right.
Yeah, it's like I crossed into another sort of part of that circadian cycle or whatever.
What are
Is that
you?
the cycle or am I?
No, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, if people who sleep too much, especially if they stay up really late and then they sleep into the day, they become, like, what are they, night owls? I think of them as like nocturnal people. That's not really healthy for you, because a normal day you want to be awake and outside. Oh gosh, I'm thinking.
And also one of my
yes.
business partners these days is based on the East Coast. So there's a lot of stuff going on.
There's research that says that you want sun in your face when you wake up. Out of Stanford, I can't think of the individual, but he talks about, and I'm sure you've seen him if I showed you his picture, he talks about when you wake up in the morning, you want to go outside, you want that natural light to hit your face.
Interesting. So even more value in owning a dog. Seriously, because the
think
dog
so.
will make you walk outside.
They keep you accountable.
Yeah. I need a dog.
Then you got to walk it. Or you
That's
throw them out
fine.
in the backyard.
That's fine.
Get you
fine.
outside.
Yeah.
What are you most excited about for the near future? In any capacity. Work, family,
I'm excited
working
about,
with me. What are you like? What are you excited about?
I'm excited about not knowing what's next. Because I'm a fan of like some of the coolest stuff historically for me is stuff that just fell out of the sky. And
So
I'm
you're
not talking about space debris.
You're
I'm talking
used
about
to living
opportunities,
on spur of the moment. Like that's kind of how it's always been.
I have a plan.
Yeah.
More of a plan these days. I started a non-alc beer company.
Yeah,
which is
Wild
pretty-
AF.
Wild AF. That's
Was
pretty
that your
exciting.
idea?
Yeah, it was the team idea.
Okay.
Yeah, it's me and two other people, and and the reception to that, we just like last week started showing the first content for it and talking about it. I drank it with Tucker. That was pretty cool.
I didn't see that. That's cool.
Yeah, and I just talked about it with Rich Eisen, and yeah, so it's starting to kind of saturate the consciousness of
Right.
of our hopefully our customer base. But I'm a founder. I'm not a spokesperson. There's a huge difference.
Ownership,
Yeah, but
literally
it's like,
and figuratively.
yeah, but to have been involved in like creating the recipe for it and like saying this is all right, we're done, we nailed it. This is going out to the world. And so that's something I'm really excited about because it's something I've never done. I'd never written a book. I'd never done a documentary or had one done about me, rather, made about me. And so, yeah, maybe that's what's going on, that there's actually new things in the pipeline, like in the stream that just feel unique enough, to keep the passion intact. I think it's really about passion. And one of the I would never describe myself as having anything that resembled a beauty secret.
You're laughing because something comes to mind.
Well, it's stress.
Yeah.
I think stress, any opportunity to mitigate any level of it throughout the day, I think is as vital, as beneficial as anything else you can do.
It's tough.
Sleep, water, stress.
We know that we need to not be so stressed.
Yes.
Literally, the cortisol is coming down. It's aging us.
Yeah.
Cortisol, this is what I think of when I get stressed and I'm like, Lace, deep breaths. It's like this acid going over your hippocampus, which is holding all of your memories. And I think it's really interesting because when you talk to people who live stressful lives, maybe it's in their family, they're trying to compartmentalize certain aspects of their stress, but inevitably other memories are also getting, I feel like, muted.
Interesting.
And so,
wow.
Sometimes easier said than done, but the fact is we need to kind of work on it and then do other things like exercising, meditating, spending time with friends to be able to enjoy our life and not have so much stress.
I totally agree. And there's one area of stress that people don't talk about enough, especially in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
Driving.
Yeah, no, that's a no for me, sir.
Right?
Yeah.
People talk about, familial stress.
Yeah.
They talk about, spousal stress.
Yeah.
They talk about, parental stress, job stress, financial stress. They don't talk about driving stress.
I think that's an LA problem. Fortunately,
It's a-
in Ventura County, I mean, sometimes depending on,
Oh no, the drive
construction.
Up, the drive up here is a breeze.
wasn't it? Did
Oh,
you
yeah.
take PCH?
Oh yeah,
Easy
No, it
breezy.
is. Yeah,
Look
just
over, see the seagulls. You're like,
just
it's a
me-
good day to be alive.
Me and Kid Rock,
Right.
the whole drive up here. Yeah.
I love that.
Yes.
All right. So